Hello booktubers, I am Nadine. This is my channel Widely Reading and I'm glad you're visiting. So today I am going to do the Missing Questions tag, and it was created by Mike at Riff Raff's Reading Renaissance, which I managed to say mostly without flubbing, and I saw it on Erin's channel at Erin Read a Book, and it asked some great questions that I would love to answer. First, I just want to mention that this is my 20th video, and for the other 19, I was sitting in the chair that's usually here, and it's a slingback chair, so my choice was either, being way back here or perched on the edge, and that's what I did. I was perched on the edge, and I looked at a couple of my videos, and I kind of looked like I was really uncomfortable, and I was. And so now I am sitting on the floor where I belong. Ever since toddlerhood, I've discovered the floor is a great place to sit, and I've never gotten over it. So now I'm real comfortable. So now I'm with the show. So the first question in this tag is, do you own a copy of a book that is physically older than you are? Your own copy, not the original book. And if more than one, then your favorite, or the oldest one you have. So this might be one of the favorites. It's The Expedition of Humphrey Clinker by Tobias Smollett, and it was published in 1929. And it actually is also written in the 18th century, so again, even the original is older than me. And yeah, I found this when I went back to school when I was about 30. Because my GRE scores were about to expire, and I thought, oh my God, if I'm going to go back for a PhD, I better go back right now, so I'm not taking these tests again. And so I did. I started working part-time, and I went to school as an undergraduate again at the age of 30, which is the most delightful thing in the world. And I took a course in 18th century British literature that I absolutely loved. And that's where I met Tobias and a bunch of other people. Laurence Sterne, looking around, got him here. Tristram, Shandy, so many fantastic books. I really went on a big 18th century British literature jag. And so thank you, Professor Ruben Quintero, for making this wonderful change in my life. That's question one. Question two. What is your favorite kind of booktube video to watch, and tell us why? Well, my favorite is any kind of booktube video where I'm exposed to a whole bunch of books briefly, because discovery is what I'm all about with booktube. Trying to find books that I had never heard of, just finding something new. So whether that's a book haul or what I read this week, something where just a really brief introduction to the book, nothing that would spoil anything. So whatever form that's in. I also, if there is a book that I just finished, I'll sometimes look for a deep dive into the book, but only after I've finished it. So I guess that pretty much covers that. What is your least favorite kind of booktube video to watch, and why? Well, I have a problem with long videos, just time-wise. I would have to spend 4 days to watch a 45-minute video because time is really limited for me. So I prefer shorter. And actually, Jim at Jim's Books and Stuff, I think, Jim at Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff, he does something called the 1-minute review, 60 seconds to review a book, and I really want to try that. It sounds like a great way to distill everything you think about a book into a really small section. And so that sounds great. I want to do that. I also am less of a fan of, let's see, my reading week when it tends to be the same book. So you revisit a book many times over the course of reading it. But I feel bad even saying that, because it just depends on the day and the book and the mood I'm in too. So I don't know. I don't even want to say a least favorite. I would just say most favorite and other favorites. All right, next question. What is a favorite book about books or reading? Can be fiction or nonfiction. And for that, I am thinking of, now I try to remember it. I should have prepared maybe a little. But it's by James Wood, I believe, and I think it's called How Fiction Works. And it kind of gives you the nuts and bolts behind the magic. What makes a character feel fully dimensional? How plot can be moved along at a really propulsive pace. All those little behind the scenes kind of things. And he illustrates it with books, books from every place, every era and all that. So that was that was fun reading for me. Next question. What is a favorite book that is not from either your own country, the USA, or the UK, i.e. rest of the world? So I'm thinking this means books in translation. And I did, before I sat down, pull out a few to show you, because there's a bunch. And that's another thing I love about doing the videos, is I love to revisit my bookshelf. I've been hauling these books around for decades, and I don't get to visit with most of them because I'm not that much of a rereader. And so anything that gives me an excuse to browse and pull books out, that I love that. So this is that. So I have, let's see, I have Laurus by Eugene Vodolazkin, and this is one of those historical novels that's really, it's you are there, historical fiction, but then weird stuff happens, and then you're not there, and then you're, where am I? And so I love this. And I was at a bookstore, and I saw that he had recently been translated a follow-up to this, and I have to look into that. If anyone's read that, let me know. What else do I have? I have, this is from Thailand by Duanwad Pimwana, and it's called Bright. And this is the first woman writer from Thailand to be translated in English, and she's very, very well known and beloved in Thailand. And it's really cute. It's about a little boy who lives in this kind of poor neighborhood in urban Thailand, and so he's kind of abandoned by his family, and the rest of the town kind of takes him in, and he kind of goes from house to house. And I know that sounds really depressing, but it's not, because he's like a little Tom Sawyer in Thailand. It's really, really sweet and charming, and a short book. Please read this book. You'll be happy you did. What else do I have? I've talked about this in 20 videos. Probably Tyll has been in 4 of them already. But Daniel Kehlmann, translated from German, is one of my favorite writers. And Tyll is a trickster figure in German folklore. And he's normally kind of a Middle Ages figure, but he puts them in the 30 Years' War, which I believe is in the 1600s, right? And then I have one more. This is from Brazil. Her mother's mother's mother and her daughters by Maria José Silveira. And this is 500 years of Brazilian history, starting from the Portuguese first arriving, and it tells the story through a family over 500 years, through the women in the family over 500 years, starting with, I don't remember what the name, I think it's on the back, but starting with a girl, Inaya, daughter of a Tupiniquim warrior, and it's starting with her, and then all of her many descendants, female descendants, over 500 years. And it's not a big book either, so it's not a huge saga, and it was just great. See, I always say wonderful, and now I'm switching to great. So I have more adjectives to I can even find more. Anyway, what classic literature book did you enjoy reading the most? I could point to Tristram, Shandy, or see, I get to wave books around, Humphrey, Clinker. But recently, I read, because I don't read much classic literature now. I read a ton of it, in my younger days. But I did recently listen to Jane Eyre, and wow, I've got to reread more, because I think Jane Eyre landed very different from when I originally read it, which was probably at 17 or something. And boy, Jane Eyre, she's a weird girl. Weird girls rule. So next question. What decidedly non-classic book did you enjoy reading the most? No limits. So I am going to show you one of my all-time favorite books, Smoke City by Keith Rosson. And this is a story, it's kind of a road trip novel between three unusual people. And the one person that I'll tell you two. One person, though, is someone who, he's like a middle-aged guy that owns a record store, but he is actually the reincarnation of the executioner of Joan of Arc. And he has been reincarnated like hundreds of times. And once, if in the incarnation he's in, he gets older, then he's able to kind of remember the previous incarnations. And so he is as old as he's ever been. So he's remembering incarnations that was just like a light and then nothing. So over the years, infant mortality was high, and so he didn't live very long. He has a lot of bare memories of being a toddler here and there. But he is on a road trip to LA with a sort of a has-been artist who was very flamboyant, and he's still flamboyant, but he's sort of burnt a lot of bridges and nobody likes him much anymore. So this is not a full description of the book, but hopefully enticing, because I love Keith Rosson. One little interesting fact. So he draws his own covers, and he was born with a visual disability where he only has like a pinhole vision. He has no peripheral vision at all, and yet he's an artist. And so when he does his art, and this is just a little section of one, he often does bigger stuff. He just paints what he sees at that moment, and the when it all comes together, it just looks really amazing. All right. If you had to pick a life partner, any gender, from literature, who would you pick and why? And so for that one, I picked Hona, I believe is the way you pronounce it, C-H-O-N-A, Hona, from the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. And I would pick her because she is just so wise, so funny. She has so much heart, and this is a pretty recent book, so hopefully you've read it. But if you haven't, well, all James McBride is wonderful. But I would pick her. The other reason I would have to have her as a life partner is we are currently having mouse and rat issues in my home, and it is really hard for me to deal with. I mean, you could do the live traps, the humane traps, but they never work. You just can't, they don't go into it, and so you have to do the other kind, and I know that she would take care of that for me. Okay, because otherwise I just have to move. Let's see. All right, did that one. Okay, now this is the last, oh no, there's one more. What author, living or dead, would you choose to write your life story? It can be a novel or biography. Oh, I know. I did think about this one ahead of time. It would be Raphael Bob Waxberg. And this is a book of his short stories that are just so funny, so clever, so touching too. Just by the title you can tell, Someone Who Will Love You in All Your Damaged Glory. And I would pick him because he is also the creator of, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. He is also the creator of BoJack Horseman, a animated series, and I would just love my life story to be animated. So now I'm cheating a little because he's an author, but it wouldn't be a book. It would be an animated film. So that's my choice. Next, all right, now we're at the last one. Choose 5 authors, living or dead, to join you on a Booktube live stream chat about books and reading. And I did prepare a little for this one too. So I choose Jane Austen because she is just so sardonically insightful about people and books and characters. I would pick Laurence Sterne because, again, this was Tristram Shandy, because he was doing experimental writing in the 18th century that was really, really clever. I would also pick, let's see, Albert Einstein. We know he wrote, maybe not fiction, but just because his big brain would take us to wonderful places. I picked Allie Smith because this is my year of reading Allie Smith. I have fallen in love with her, and I don't think I can make a video without bringing her name up. So Allie Smith, haven't her in person, what a delight. And my last person, I don't think he's actually an author, but he is the world's greatest reader, and his name is Michael Silverblatt, and he did pass away a while ago. But he had a podcast, I guess it was at the time. So a podcast called, oh, I should write these things down. The Bookworm? I don't know. I'm gonna put the name up here. And writers love to be on his podcast because he was such a sensitive reader. And he seemed like such a kind and sensitive person. And oh, I miss him so much. So, let's see. Then, tagging other people. So I am going to tag Nicole at My Messy Bookshelf. I am going to tag Jim at Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff, the guy who does those great 1-minute reviews. And a new channel I found, David at What is David Reading? And there's a period between each word, What is David Reading? And he has just started Booktube. He's talking about short stories, and listening to him talk about Short Stories September, the challenge, has made me want to do it. So, ta-da, we're done. And thanks for being here. I hope I didn't ramble on too long, and I'll see you soon. Bye.